Okay, so guys, now let's try to understand what type of supported interface or what type of interfaces is supported by your Panorama virtual appliance and your M series appliance. Okay, so let's suppose we have deployed our Panorama virtual appliance in AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud. You will get one dedicated management interface, can support a firewall management, firewall log collection, collection group, communication, license, software and content update. Means this management interface can able to perform all these tasks basically. One single interface can able to perform all these tasks. Means if you will see here, I have this management interface, right? It can able to do the device management, device log collection, collection group communication, syslog forwarding, device deployment. Means it can support all type of tasks. In KVM, VMware hypervisor environment, what we used to happen, we generally use any interface. We can use M0, we can use Ethernet 1, or we can use Ethernet 2, 3, 4, and 5 for the firewall management, firewall log collection, collection group communication, license management, software and dynamic content updates, right? Software updates and dynamic updates, which is your content updates. So we can use any interface because right now I have deployed my Panorama in VMware environment, and you can see I have total 6 interfaces. I can use any interface. You can see you have to just define the role to that interface. What is the role of that interface? You can define, you can able to do the device management with that interface. You can do the device log collection with that interface, collection group communication, syslog forwarding, and device deployment. Means all type of tasks we can able to do by using any interface. But in Azure, GCP and all, we have a management interface which can support all these things. Okay, now we have a Panorama M series appliance. All M series appliance guys have your management interface, Ethernet 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So I think last time I made a one mistake for M100 or M200. I told you it just have a Ethernet 1, 2, 3, and 4. But I think these 4 and 5 interface is also available into these appliances. Okay. Interface M0, Ethernet 1, 2, 3. Throughput is 1 Gbps. Sorry, guys. So the interface M0, management interface, Ethernet 1, 2, and 3. We have a throughput of 1 Gbps. Interface 4 and 5 have a throughput is which is 10 Gbps. Panorama M series appliance, each interface can support firewall management, firewall log collection, collector group communication, license, software, and content updates. Okay, now if I will go here, so guys, now you can see an M series appliance, 600 series appliance, 500 series, 300 series, and M200 series appliances, right? They have a management interface with 1 Gbps throughput, and we can this interface available into all this particular models. Means all models have a management interface. All models have a Ethernet 1 interface, H1, with 1 Gbps throughput. Ethernet 2 interface is also available with 1 Gbps throughput into M600, 500, 300, and 200 appliance. I think M300 and M700 is not having that interface. Okay, because these are the quite new. I also need to do some research because they have just launched actually few days back only, these two series devices. M300 Ethernet 1x3 is also available. This interface is not available into M700 and 300 box. 4 Ethernet 4 and 5 available in your 600 and 500 box, but that interface is not available in 300 and 200 box. Ethernet 5 available into 600, 500, but not available into 300, 200, and 700. Actually, for 700, I think they don't have a proper information. This is the screenshot I took from the Palo Alto official website because I was not having the proper detail of the hardware model supported interface for that series device. So, but definitely in few days we will get all the interfaces details and everything for these models as well. This is the slide for logging rate and everything, so you can also check it out now. Now let's try to understand there's a one more important topic, which is panorama network segmentation, how we can do the panorama network segmentation, right? So let's try to understand this segmentation part now. How we can do the network segmentation in case of panorama environment. So generally what used to happen basically, so what we have generally, as you have remember, let's suppose I am having panorama 600 box. This is the M 600 series box I'm having. As you know, this series box, just give me 1 second, guys. Let me just clean here. Okay, now let me just design. So we have the internet here. And we have a switch here. Then let's suppose we have a router here as well, some router. And after that, it has a connectivity till the internet. And maybe it's from through some data center, through some firewall somehow, okay? So this interface is a management interface of your Palo Alto Panorama appliance, okay? Apart from this, in this appliance, I do have a one more interface, which is Ethernet 1, Ethernet 2, Ethernet 3, Ethernet 4, and Ethernet 5. These are the 5 more interfaces I am having in this particular appliance. So what we used to happen, if you remember, Ethernet 4 and Ethernet 5, they have a support for 10 Gbps of link, right? Which means somewhere here below, I have my log collector group. These are my log collectors. I have 3 panorama. Let's suppose I'm running as a log collectors, and they are collecting the logs for the firewalls which belongs to the data centers. And I have, let's suppose, all my firewalls. PA firewall 1 till PA firewall N. Means I have a n number of firewalls. I'm not sure about the numbers here. So these firewall, let's say, belongs to the data center, right? So what we used to happen generally, apart from this, I do have another set of log collectors here. These are the some another set of log collectors, and these log collectors I'm using for collecting the logs which is coming from my branch. And after that, I do have few firewalls as well, like PA, BR, firewall 01 till PA, BR firewall, and means I have around some firewalls. They are belongs to my different branches. Okay, different locations, doesn't matter. We have a connectivity between your log collectors and these DC firewalls and your branch firewalls. They have a connectivity with each other somehow through MPLS link or through IPSec VPNs, any media. Okay. Now, so what used to happen basically, what we used to do, so I have the details in this way. In similar fashion, I have this. So this type of setup I'm having. So guys, what I will do generally, I will use guys Ethernet 1 interface. What is the purpose of Ethernet 1 interface here? I will just select the option which is management only. Means I will do the management of my log collectors, my data center firewalls, and management of my log collectors, whatever I'm having into branch office, and I will manage all the branch office firewall management through this interface. Means I will make the secure communication between my firewalls and Panorama interface IP, which is ETH1, just for the management purpose. Now, Ethernet 5 interface I will use for managing the communication which this Panorama will do with these dedicated log collectors and with these dedicated log collectors. Or I can also maybe go in another design. And instead of doing the management here, let me just here we have some small change. I will use this Ethernet 1 interface just for the purpose which is device deployment. Device deployment means it will take care of my software and content updates plus my license management. So these tasks I will do with the help of Ethernet 1 interface for all my firewalls, whatever firewalls I am having on my data center, my branches, or whatever log collectors groups I'm having for branches or I'm having for data centers. I will use the interface which is Ethernet 1x3 for the management purpose of my log collectors and for the management purpose of my data center firewalls. And I will use the interface Ethernet 1x2 for the management of my log collectors, for branches, and for the management of my branch office firewalls. Means, guys, this is how we have to do the network segmentation. I'm using Ethernet interface 3 and Ethernet interface 2. 2 I'm using for branch firewall and log collector management. Management includes Config management. I want to configure the policies. I want to configure the routing, network objects, IP address on the interfaces, all such kind of details. And this interface I'm using for DC firewall, config management, and log collector group config management. And I will use interface which is Ethernet 5 and Ethernet 4 for log query purpose. Means I will do the log query from this Panorama appliance to my log collector, because if I want to generate some reports, what it will do, I will send the query, log query to this particular log collectors from this Panorama through, and this communication will happen Ethernet 1/6. So guys, this is how we will utilize the Ethernet interfaces of your Panorama environments. Now, I do have a management interface. This interface generally we were utilized just for taking the GUI access of your Panorama, taking the CLI access of your Panorama, plus this interface I will use for downloading the software updates and content updates from the internet. So guys, this is how we have to do the network segmentation of your Panorama. If you are designing the solution, that's how you will decide the interface. This is how you will do the network segmentation, right? Which interface you will use for which purpose, right? Because we will not put entire load just in single interface. I have seen lots of deployment. People are using this interface for everything. Management interface. This is not a good design at all, guys. You will get lots of issues in this design. Maybe when you will do the commit, your commit becomes slow. You will get some bandwidth related issues. When you are doing the context switch, if you want to take the access of your firewall through the Panorama, right? It takes some time. So you will come across such kind of issues, right? So designing a solution is a most important and most critical job in this particular case, guys. Okay. So that's how we have to do the Panorama network segmentation. In virtual appliance, we are having, if you are running your EXA environment, we have these many interfaces. 5 but in AWS cloud and all, guys, we just have a one interface. So these some such kind of limitation you will get into the cloud environments. Okay. Few limitation is always there in the cloud. Got it, guys? Now tell me one thing. There is a one more purpose of this particular management interface. Yeah, so we have to do the same type of network segmentation for your physical devices and for your virtual devices. Okay. But if you have deployed Panorama in your cloud environment like AWS, Azure and all, where you have to use the management zero interface, because they have some limitation with regards to the interfaces and all. Now, there is a one more important purpose of your management interface. Okay, I got the answer from Muhammad Elawad, the HA. We will use the management interface for high availability communication as well in your Panorama environment. And we will be deploying Panorama in HA mode, guys. Don't worry. And at that time, I will explain you the advanced debugs of HA agent. There are multiple demons in HA, multiple things we have to discuss. Okay, all these things I'm going to cover. So, device management and device log collection. To manage the firewalls and log collectors, to collect the logs, multiple interfaces can take part of in this service. Collector group communication used for communication between log collectors. Only one interface can take part in this service. Device deployment, to deploy a software and content updates to manage devices. Only one interface can take part in this service. So guys, for device deployment, we just have a one interface, but we can also able to configure this dedicated log collectors. In this, we can able to configure two interfaces, okay? But in physical appliance, we have some limitations. So we have to basically refer these type of limitations. Now the guys, last topic for today's, which is Panorama Lab overview. What type of lab I have created and I'm going to use. Let me just give you some brief idea of my lab environment. So guys, if you will see, I have created one lab topology on my EVNG where I have a Panorama 1 and I have a Panorama 2. This Panorama 1 and 2, I will use this Panorama as a primary active and this Panorama I will use as a secondary active. And I will configure the HA between these two panoramas. I will have a Panorama 3 as well. This 3 Panorama I will use as a dedicated log collector. Means this Panorama will use for dedicated log collectors. And if you will see the network segmentation, the management interface of your Panorama, I have connected with the internet and I have also deployed here one of the Windows server. This is the AD server. So to perform the user, sorry guys. So to perform the user ID related task, we will use this particular AD server. And I will also get the internet into on this particular interface for downloading the software updates, dynamic updates, and other details. And after that, I am using Ethernet 1 interface on my Panorama 1 and 2, and also on my Panorama 3, which is a log collector Panorama. What I will do, I will use this interface for collecting the logs and for doing the device management of my data center firewall. So guys, in production, maybe you will get 1, 2, 3, 4 or 100 sites. In our lab, we will just have a one site. I have a Palo Alto Firewall 1 and Palo Alto Firewall 2, and I am running these firewalls in HA mode. Behind these firewalls, I have some DMG servers, and I have one LAN user. On my LAN side, this is my LAN user. And I have a dedicated management switch here. Maybe in your case, you have a management router where you have a dedicated BRF created for your management traffic and all. Then I'm using Ethernet 2 interface for managing my branch office devices. I have a 2 firewalls on my branch, firewall 1 and 2. I'm running these firewalls in HA mode. In branch, I just have one DMG server and I have one test PC. And now guys, this entire lab setup I will do in front of you. So you will also get the idea how we have to configure, what are the necessary things we have to do. Everything we will do from scratch. So you will get some idea also if you want to if you want to set up a lab, if you want to do that kind of setup in your office environment, you can able to do that. Now, let me tell you one more thing, guys. For this lab, you need a license. So you have to procure the license. I am not going to help you with the license. I can help you with the software images. If you need any kind of software images, I am going to help you. All the necessary software images I will give you, even though I will give you this lab topology as well. So you don't need to create anything. You have to just simply import it and you can start choosing it. But what I will recommend you guys, do not purchase, do not try to arrange a lots of license, because you know here I have a 3 panoramas, 3 license of panorama, and I have around 2 firewalls here. So I have around 4 firewall license, plus I will later on I will also introduce 2 more firewalls. So total I will get around 6 firewall with the license. Okay, so do not try to create such kind of labs. What I will recommend, you just need one panorama, one firewall, one panorama license and one firewall license. That's it, and you can able to simulate everything. Do not purchase a multiple license. Now, how you will get the license? So guys, if your organization is using the Palo Alto firewalls, in that case, you can request the account manager of Palo Alto for the demo license, and he will provide you the demo license. So you can utilize these demo license. Okay. So this is all about guys from today's class, whatever I'm having on my mind.